Why do patients not take their blood pressure medications? The answer is because they feel all the negatives of taking the blood pressure medications and none of the positives. There's a whole host of side effects that people feel: dizziness, feeling faint, weakness of their muscles, weakness of energy, brain fog. These are significant symptoms. The statistics are staggering that 50% of all patients that take blood pressure medications will stop taking them after about a year. Now, the million-dollar question is, why are they stopping? Is it because the medications are so successful that they're working, that their blood pressure was finally cured? The answer for most people is because they did not see a benefit. As with most medications, you have to see a benefit that overrides the negative. If you have too many negative side effects and no benefit, it's hard to get people to take their blood pressure medication. There's something called an N&T number, and what this means essentially is what percentage of success will the drug have. And it's unfortunate that success when it comes to blood pressure medications is about 4%, which means that for every 100 people taking blood pressure medications, it's going to successfully reduce the chance of a heart attack or stroke in 4 of those people, which means 96 people are taking the medication and not feeling or knowing that they're getting a benefit. So one of the methods to try to increase compliance for most doctors is to use fear tactics. And I don't think this is a great idea. It does work for some people, but to try to scare a patient to take the medications, to be compliant. So when you think about it, if you are a patient that's not taking your blood pressure medications, the doctor is actually looking at you thinking that you're not complying with his orders. And usually it starts with a finger like this. There's ways to get you to take the medications, and that is to scare the living bejesus out of you and say that if you don't take these medications, the consequences are going to be that you're going to have a stroke, or you're going to have a heart attack, your life is going to be over, you may actually die, but if you're really unlucky, you're going to become disabled. If you have a stroke, half of your body will not work. Maybe you won't be able to speak to your grandchildren or children. These are ways to get you to take the medication. But again, unfortunately, the success rate is only about 4%. There has to be a better way, and there is, but it requires that the patient become more active in their recovery of having high blood pressure. A doctor should view themselves as a helper that can help guide a patient to becoming a healthier person so that their blood pressure goes down. When you go to a doctor and you discover that you have hypertension or high blood pressure, that should be an opportunity for the doctor to really discuss with you what's going on in your life and to find out what is it that you're eating, what is it that you're doing for exercise, how's your stress levels, how are you managing the problems that go on through life to wave through so that you don't have an excessive amount of tension in your body. Are you smoking? These are things that, rather than pointing the finger and saying that you're going to have death and destruction of your body and using fear tactics, it's an opportunity to say, hey, look, your blood pressure is this number. It needs to be lower in order to have a healthier life. What are the action steps that we can take? So very often, the easiest one to start with that literally costs a patient no money at all is to start with exercise. And most people, at least in my town, are not exercising enough. We don't have a town where people are exercising excessively. So to get people to go outside, go in the sun, get a little vitamin D, go for a walk, and walk vigorously enough to stimulate health and to stimulate your body to produce more nitric oxide in the body in order to develop more mitochondria in the cells, in order to develop collateral circulation in the heart, develop more blood vessels. These are some of the benefits of simply doing cardiovascular exercise. Now, one could ride a bike, they could swim, they could run, but walking is probably the simplest. The other thing that a doctor may want to discuss with you is, well, what do you eat? And I've done this with a lot of my patients, and it's always shocking to know how many people will have KFC for breakfast, for example, or no breakfast at all, because that's the trend at the time. But then you say, okay, well, you're not going to eat breakfast, but what do you eat for lunch? When do you eat lunch? And it turns out it's no healthier than what I just mentioned. The problem is that people really don't know what to eat because they're confused. And that's a perfect opportunity for a doctor to use their knowledge and use their education to talk to the patient and find out, well, what do you like to eat? What can you eat? And to change their mindset on food. The last thing really, and this is a big one, is stress. Now, I'm not talking about just pushing them off to the psychiatrist or anything like that. And I'm not talking about giving stress medications for stress. I'm talking about figuring out how can you reduce the amount of stress in your life. Unfortunately, this would be an ideal solution to a major problem. But unfortunately, at least in our area, there just isn't a lot of time for doctors to do this. Either they don't want to do it or they've lost faith in the body's ability to heal itself. But one can change your blood pressure. One can alter your health and turn it around. Many people have done it before, and I'm willing to bet that you can do it too. If you would like a supplement that would help you support normal blood pressure and increase the production of nitric oxide, then this is something that you may want. I take this, you take 2 tablets, it gives you the correct amount of L-arginine and L-citrulline so that you are providing the raw nutrients necessary for your body to produce more nitric oxide, which in turn will help support normal blood pressure. I'll put a link down below in the description. It's an Amazon link. You could read reviews and see what other people have experienced. I think you'll like it, so just click the link down below in the description and see if it's right for you.